Guys, put out the fires. Don't worry about the pirates. Just let them take what they want. They're taking our wood. They're taking our plastic. They're taking our dirt. They're taking more plastic. Oh, no. They're killing our people. Hey there, survivors. Cougar here, and as I try to de-stress after our latest disastrous foray into below zero's glacial basin, I thought I'd show you a relaxing little game from a group of indie developers called Devs on a Boat. The game is called Buoyancy, and it's a fresh take on the City Builder game. Now, normally in City Builder games, you gather resources either inside or outside and bring them to your city. In this game, your city goes to the resources. We are a floating city, and we will be moving around this post-apocalyptic flooded world, building up our city and making life as habitable as possible for our population. Let's start a new game. And as you can see, we're out here in the ocean all by ourselves. But there is stuff around for us to move our city to. We can move our city around right now via rowing, but later on you can build motors to get around and so on. There are also resources out here in the world. There's a sunken brewery. There are some drifting resources we can go collect. There's a dead whale out there that we can go harvest. Let's see, a driftwood pile off on the horizon, some more drifting resources, sunken ship with some crude oil that we might be able to get, and a survivor's raft. That is our top priority here at the start. Here's a second survivor's raft. Top priority is adding a little population to our town here. So our first destination, we got driftwood, a trash pile, which will generate plastic and metal for us, and then driftwood, and a sunken brewery where we can harvest beer to keep our populace happy. But first things first, let's see if we can go grab these survivors over here. Now we do have to do a little bit of basic construction right at the start, but I think we'll go ahead and let's get over there to these survivors before we start constructing. Now, I usually try to do some guided gameplay type videos. First of all, we're on normal speed here. I'll speed it up to fast speed. There are two speed settings right now. The devs may add a third one so it can be even faster if we need to. But I'm saying I usually try to do, some guided gameplay videos and stuff. That's what you're used to from me, but I really do not know what I'm doing with this game. I've played about 7 hours. I have a basic understanding of what's going on, but not much. A kelp forest and a school of fish here. That is definitely important to us right off the bat because we have no food. Now, I wish there was a way to pause so I could show you around the screen here without occluding it with this menu screen here, but just briefly look over on the left hand side. We've got our resources. Right now we can store 600 resources. We've got 180 at the start. That's 80 wood, and then we got steel, plastic, scrap iron that can be processed into the steel. Garbage that we can pick up, some dirt that we can harvest off the sea floor. We got under miscellaneous, we got fresh water, some grains, some flour that we can make from the grains. This is the whales that we can harvest their flesh from and turn it into edible stuff at a butcher. This is blubber that also comes from the whales. Oil, fuel that we can make from the oil later on, and our food. We've got kelp, fish, bread that we can build a bakery to make after we've grown some grain and turned it into wheat, and then the meat that's going to come from the butcher after we harvest the whales, some crabs that we can get off the bottom, and some beer to keep our people happy. At the top, we've got our population. Up here, we've only got 10 survivors right now. Their happiness is 92%. You can't quite see it. I wish there was a way to pause. I wonder if just pause on the keyboard will pause this. No, I never use this. Where is pause? Let's see. No, it won't pause the game. All right, so happiness, their fed state, which right now is at 98%, their hunger, the pollution that we're generating around the city, etc., etc. Down at the bottom, some basic stuff. Building menu is down here. Tools that we can use once we've built some stuff are down here. Overlay to tell us what is producing what via icons over the production stuff, policies, statistics. Those things are kind of still in the work. There are some policies, but statistics, technology, and are not in the game yet. All right, so let's actually get going. So we've reached this survivors raft. We have the option to either rescue them by taking them on board, leave them be, demand resources from them, take them prisoner. If we've built a prison, we can take them prisoner and put them to work, or eat them. We will not be eating survivors. Just full disclosure here, that's not going to happen ever. We're going to rescue these survivors and they will join our burgeoning colony. Now, right off the bat, we want to be harvesting this kelp forest and school of fish, but we haven't built anything that will let us do that yet. So let's get down to the building. We start with our town center here. And again, guys, I'm not trying to pitch this as some kind of strategy guide. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I do know that we're going to start by building a scavenger and a forager. And we're going to leave some open space around these guys because if you box them in, they need 3 sides open, or no, 2 sides open to do their business. We can't completely box them in with other stuff or they won't be able to operate. We're also going to build a fisherman over here off this side of the raft, and we can build more off of that. And we're going to be building more foragers off this forager. We're going to be building more scavengers off this scavenger. We're going to be building fishers. Now, if you look at the build menu down here, all sorts of stuff for us to build: a recycler, a smelter, a deep diver for harvesting stuff off the ground, off the sea floor, a harpooner when we come across some whales, an evaporator to make fresh water, a greenhouse to make grains, a mill to turn the grains into flour, a bakery to turn the flour and the water that we get from the evaporator into bread, a butcher for harvesting the whales, a trapper for the crabs, a refinery for the oil to turn that into fuel, a brewery to turn the grains and the water into beer, store a galley as a place for our people to meet and relax, storehouses to store stuff, obviously, a medicine hut to keep our people healthy, a motor way down the road. We can build a motor so we don't have to row everywhere. Filter station, I'm not even sure what that is. That's new. I think that's new. I've never seen that before. Guard houses, because there are pirate attacks in this game. Pirate attacks and storms that can be dangerous to your ship. So we've slowed down to normal speed. Let me speed back up and move us over to this kelp forest and school of fish. Our fishermen, you see these yellow arcs here? The fishermen over here and the forager here are now gathering from these dual resources in this area. So the forager is gathering kelp. The fisherman or fisher is fishing from the school of fish that's also here. So if you look over here, obviously in our food, we are gathering the seaweed and we are gathering the fish to feed our hungry peeps. So this is an underwater peak. Now, if we build a deep diver, we can harvest dirt from this underwater peak. Deep divers will harvest dirt slowly. Should we do that? Why don't we go ahead and do that? I think we should do that since we're here. Let's make a deep diver. We'll put him on this side, I guess, leaving a little space around our scavenger over there. And then once that's built, we'll slide over here to the underwater peak and start pulling up some dirt. We're going to need dirt for our greenhouse to plant the seeds for our wheat. We also need dirt for some other stuff for building other things. But we'll get to that down the road. So we are on fast speed, and I want to emphasize, I play games to relax. Real life is stressful enough. I come home after a stressful day at work, stressful commute, and I just want to chill. And that's one of the reasons why I like Subnautica so much, because I find it very relaxing to be under the waves. But this is also a very relaxing game. Aside from the pirate attacks and the occasional storms, you're just trying to, survive and make life better for the inhabitants of your city. So I find it a nice relaxing game to play. If you're looking for some high-paced, some fast-paced action, this ain't really the game for you. If you're looking for a nice, relaxing way to spend a few hours after a stressful day at work, this is a nice, nice way to do that. A very, very nice game. Now, obviously, if we built more foragers right now, which we really can't afford to do because we don't have the wood for it, we would be harvesting this kelp here quite a bit faster. It's almost gone. If we look at it, we can see that there are only 12% of the kelp is still down there. And so that'll be finished in a second. Hopefully our deep diver will finish soon. Well, we need more wood for that. That's a problem. We're not going to be able to take advantage of this underwater peak here because we don't have the wood to complete construction on our deep diver. So our next thing to be looking out for is a driftwood pile, but there was also that other raft of survivors. Well, let's slide over here and grab this drifting resource before it drifts away, and then see if we can find that other batch of survivors. I'm pretty sure they were out this way, so even though we don't have an actual destination yet, let's head over there. You can rotate the town around as you move. Another thing that can plague your city, well, illnesses for one thing. Um, that's why we want to build a medicine hut at some point. But also fires. Certain buildings have a tendency to catch on fire. Great. Our deep diver has been built. Unfortunately, we've already moved away from that underwater peak, and there'll be more of them. Oh, there's one right here with a kelp forest. So great. We can put our foragers and our deep divers to work on this kelp forest while we try to locate that second batch of survivors. They will not have gone far. They may have drifted a little bit from where we first saw them, but I'll bet they're still around here. That destroyed ship with crude oil over there is probably going to be a destination for us. We want the scrap metal off it. Once we build a smelter, we can get that out. These buoys over here are trading posts. That's called Tide Pool. This is called Dale and Cousins Trading Company. And we don't really have anything to trade with them right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. I am not seeing that second batch of survivors. You know, that may not be a terrible thing because you really don't want um, to grow too quickly because it's going to be hard to keep everybody fed if you just focus purely on adding population. Your guys can get kind of hungry. So let's just so now our deep divers here are diving deep to bring up the dirt from the underwater peak. They will also occasionally pick up some crude oil down there. So you can get dirt and crude oil from the deep divers. And then our foragers are over here getting the kelp. Now, foragers will pick up kelp at a slow rate when they're not sitting on a resource like this. The scavengers will pick up driftwood at a slow pace when they're not sitting on a driftwood pile resource. So once these guys finish up, we're still at fast speed. And, I want to emphasize this game does involve a bit of waiting around. It's not something where you have to be doing stuff all the time. There are going to be periods of downtime where you're just kind of sitting around planning your next move. That's a driftwood pile. That's going to be our next destination. But as I said, it does give you time to plan, think about where you're going to go, look around, see what else is out there. Drifting resources, drifting resources. I've totally lost that other group of survivors. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Like I said, we don't want to expand too quickly here. We do want to get over to this sunken brewery if possible, or a sunken brewery at some point along the line. Villagers maintain their happiness through a few things: by drinking beer if they get unhappy enough, but also by making deliveries. So the more stuff you're picking up and harvesting, and they're being forced to carry it to the storehouse, the happier they'll be. And I think there's one other thing that makes them happy. Eating. Eating, as long as there's food there, they'll gain happiness when they go to eat. All right, we're still picking up a little bit of kelp here. Once that kelp is done, there is nice music that plays in the background, but I think it's only 3 tracks. Um, the devs have done a good job of kind of spacing them out, so you're not hearing the same tracks over and over and over again. There are long periods where there's no music playing, but the 3 tracks that they've got so far are nice to listen to, so I'll leave the music on. We have 34 driftwood. We could build something else right now. All right, we finished that kelp. Next, we'll head to the driftwood pile and start harvesting that. I'm going to rotate us around here as we go. See our guys on the edges of the raft. Sounds a little bit like they're getting busy, but they're really just doing rowing stuff. You can hit C to lock the camera to the craft, but it has to get pretty far away before it starts following on your own. I wish that the following happened a little bit sooner. Okay, we've got one scavenger harvesting up that driftwood, which means it's going to take a while to harvest. So let's think about what our next build should be. We need to start. We're going to need metal to build some of the more advanced buildings. These guys are paused for some reason. Oh, is our storage getting full? No, not already. This building's production has been manually halted. No, it hasn't. I didn't halt it. I'm not sure what happened there. As I said, this is an early access game. It's still in development. It's coming along pretty well so far, I think. But so new things to build. I think we need to. We're running low on plastic. We need to build a recycler so that we can turn the garbage that we pick up into plastic, usable plastic. We also want to build a smelter so that we can turn the scrap metal that we're picking up into usable metal. We also want to, not a harpooner yet, and we're not at the point where we need an evaporator or a greenhouse yet. I think that's probably going to be it. And we finished that pile of stuff. There's another driftwood pile off to the way out here. Wood is probably the most valuable resource because once we build ourselves a smelter, not only will we need the wood to build buildings, but we need wood to fire the smelter. And there are other things that are going to need wood to operate. I think the bakery needs wood to operate. This guy is sad already for some reason. We're out of beer, and we're not picking up a lot of stuff. Well, our scavenger was picking up all that wood, so our forager over here feels a little left out. He hasn't been generating a lot of good stuff for the town, and I think he's a little sad. But delivering that one thing that he just delivered should cheer him up a little bit. Oh, now poor sad guy's going back to work. Well, we'll find you something to harvest soon, Mr. Forager. Everybody's a little sad. These guys are getting sadder faster. They just dropped an update, so some of these game mechanics may have changed a little bit. Survivor's Raft over there, and I think that we are in a position to now go pick them up, now that we've got a little basic infrastructure going here. Our recycler has been built for turning garbage into... See, garbage into plastic. This also requires driftwood or wood to fire the recycler. So we're already going to have 2 different things requiring wood, which is why wood is such an important resource at the start, because you need to build, but you also need the wood as fuel for some of your producers here, your recycler and your smelter. All right, he's done. Let's get over here and see if we can grab those survivors. Another driftwood pile over here. That's good. Where'd the survivors go? They were over this way, right? I'm sure of it. We'll be able to see them once we get a little closer over there. So yeah, our people are not terribly happy. Happiness is gained from drinking beer, completing a resource delivery, and eating food. So we want to get these guys' happiness up as soon as we can. Where'd those survivors go? More driftwood. Oh, there they are. They're way over here. I'm going the wrong direction. Villagers will reproduce. They'll be getting busy and adding more people. Everyone's very unhappy now. Before this update, I did not notice people getting unhappy this quickly. Their happiness is really going down fast. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm assuming that's a change introduced with this update. So, what I'd like to do is get people busier gathering stuff, which means we can head over to this trash pile, which will get everyone busy gathering. Let's rescue these survivors. They'll join our town. Let's go pick up this driftwood, and then we'll head over to the trash pile. And that'll get a bunch of people working gathering stuff instead of just this one scavenger gathering the driftwood. Because people want to be working, they want to be busy. Rotate around as we wait. This is just a little bit of rain. This is not a storm. You'll get a big warning when a storm is coming. And then what you got to do is hopefully you find where the storm is coming from quickly enough that you can actually move your city out of the way. Because if the storm passes right over your city, the lightning is going to destroy a lot of buildings. We've rotated around to such a point where our scavenger was no longer in range of the driftwood. Our population is at 26. That's good. We used to get a notification when we hit 25. That did not happen this time for some reason. That may be another new change introduced with this latest update. Wow, so many people are unhappy. We're down to 60% happiness. Our next priority has to be finding one of those sunken breweries. We've seen 2 of them already. Let's see if I can find another one for us to head to next. Hopefully, there's another trash pile over there. And there's this trash pile here. Hopefully hitting this trash pile will help cheer everyone up. There's more driftwood there, and it looks like I think I see... Let's go for the trash pile now that this driftwood resource has been depleted. And I think I see a sunken brewery off in the... Yep, there's one off in the distance that way. So let me rotate the view around so we're looking right at it. We remember where it is. It's going to be straight ahead out of here. Okay, so now we've got both the forager and the scavenger bringing stuff in. The scavenger is bringing in scrap metal, which will go to the smelter to be turned into metal. And the forager is bringing in garbage, which will go to the recycler to be turned into plastic. And because both of these harvesters are working now and bringing in a lot of stuff, this should help with our happiness problem a little bit. Man, the happiness is going down fast. It's going down fast. It is definitely going down faster than it did before this update. Not sure how I feel about that. I was perfectly happy with the rate at which it went down before. This feels a little too fast. Yeah, so many unhappy people. And they're making deliveries too. I mean, these deliveries should be putting them back in the happy zone, but it's not. So next priority is that sunken brewery way off there. There's another one. 2 sunken breweries to harvest us some beer. There's a driftwood pile on the way. We're down to 56% happiness already. I mean, people are going to be getting so unhappy that they're going to leave. I think we cannot afford to stop at this driftwood pile. I think we got to head straight for the sunken brewery. We've already banked 190 wood. Now that sounds like a lot of wood, but as I said, you go through it really, really quickly. At the start, it usually does pay to go out of your way and pick up these drifting resources. But I'm so worried about our happiness right now. I'm just going to beeline it for that sunken brewery. Wow, we're at 51% happiness. People are going to start leaving the city soon if we don't cheer them up a bit. I've just locked the camera to the thing. Now it's still not moving with the storehouse. Still not moving with the storehouse. Now it starts moving. That's pretty far away. All right, we've reached the sunken brewery. Everybody stop what you're doing and go gather some beer. We need that beer. So the people who aren't doing anything will come over to the edges of the raft and lie down on the edge of the raft and start picking up beer. See them lying down here? And they'll start, basically what they're doing is they're bringing in buckets of seawater mixed with beer and then getting the beer sorted from the seawater. That's it. That's it. We got 4 units of beer out of that sunken brewery. That's not good. We're going to need more than that to get these people happy again. Now, I'd say that we should beeline straight for building a brewery, but we're still quite a ways away from that because we have to build a greenhouse to do that. We have to grow the wheat. We have to build uh, a water purifier and make fresh water, and then we can use the wheat and the water to make beer. But I mean, yeah, then we have to build a brewery. So yeah, we've still got a ways to go. You guys try to gather up some beer here. Wow, the beer we got off that sunken brewery didn't do anything. We're still at 51% happiness. Yeah, Dev's not a fan of the increased unhappiness. Wow. Whatever beer we got from that sunken brewery is gone already. People already drank it because they're so unhappy. Another raft of survivors. See, now that's too much. We cannot afford that yet. We need to do some more building. I'm so focused on this crazy level of unhappiness here. Oh, that driftwood pile's close. I think it makes more sense to go to this driftwood pile. That's another driftwood pile over there, but that's on the other side of the survivors. It's too far away. I mean, it's farther away than this one. So let's do this, and then as we're gathering this up, we can do some more construction. We'll build a second scavenger right away to help bring in more of the driftwood quickly. We'll build a second forager. We'll build a second fisher. And we do not need a second deep diver yet. Maybe down the road. We don't need a medicine hut yet. People aren't getting sick. I guess we start looking ahead to building a brewery. We're pushing our storage limit a little bit, so I'm going to build a storehouse. Your raft is slower and harder to move around the more stuff you build on it. You can build these platforms that add less drag and weight, just allow you to space things out a little bit. Like I could put platforms, in fact I probably should put platforms between these. They do not count as a building, and they increase the speed that anybody walking across it walks faster. And they don't have to be built, they just automatically are built. All right, we picked up all that driftwood. That's good. We're building a storehouse now. That's good. I'm going to build an evaporator. And we should start thinking about some defenses soon, too. We could get attacked by pirates at any time. It seems pretty random, but I do think there's a little grace period off the top. They're not going to attack us right the minute we get started. Something just slowed us way down. Look at how unhappy people are, man. If we build a greenhouse, that means we're going to have to get a lot of dirt. Oh, we have a lot of dirt. We have a lot of dirt already because we stopped at that peak. That was the kelp and the peak. So I can build a greenhouse now. And start growing some wheat. Storm inbound and it's heading right for us. Heading right for us. And we're not moving. We have no head start. I'm gonna try to rotate us around a little bit. Maybe we can just skirt the edge of it. Move, guys, move. Move. Keep moving, keep moving. Don't slow down, don't slow down. I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Alright, I think we're outside. We're outside the storm's radius. Good, because that would be a huge setback at this point. I mean, we're just getting going here. We really don't need to be having a bunch of buildings destroyed by fire. All right, so we've got water coming in. When this is built, we'll have grain coming in, and then at that point we're going to need a brewery. So let's get that going. Our village is backlogged with jobs. We don't have enough people to do all the jobs that there are for them, which means we probably could be picking up more survivors, but look at our food. We have no food. That's got to be our next priority. Oh my gosh, our happiness is down to 44%, and they have nothing to eat, so they're not going to be gaining happiness from the food anymore. Here comes some fog. This is going to make it harder to find stuff to do. Another driftwood pile, but I think we're okay on wood. We need to be thinking about feeding these people. Another driftwood pile off there in the distance. Kelp forest, we could head for that when we're done harvesting the wood here. Just try to remember where that is, and I'll keep looking around. Driftwood pile. Elvis starved to death. Zoe withered away due to poor nourishment. Villagers are hungry. City needs food. As I was saying, our villagers are hungry. All right, we're gonna. All right, that driftwood is done. Let's head for the kelp forest. Get them some kelp to eat. I'm going to rotate this around. All right, good. So our evaporator is working. Our greenhouse is working. Now we just got to get a brewery built. Nourishment, people are very, very hungry and very unhappy. Extremely unhappy. Man, this game changed overnight. Like, literally, this is not the game I was playing last night after today's update. This has changed quite a bit. Well, that has changed. The happiness thing has changed. Ah, Dorothea withered away due to poor nourishment. We just lost another one. We're down to 23 survivors on our raft. We'll be on the lookout for more survivors to pick up to replenish these guys, but you know, with no food to feed them, we really don't need to be adding too many more people to our group here. Let's get over here and bring in a bunch of kelp. Ah, that's survivors right there. All right, when we have some food to feed them, our next thing will be to go over there and grab those survivors. In the meantime, while these guys do their kelp harvesting, let's look around and see what would happen after that. I would love to find a school of fish. Even better, a kelp forest and a school of fish in one resource node. Driftwood pile. A whale would be great, but we would have to build a harpooner to take advantage of any whales we find. So far, I'm seeing a lot of driftwood. I think they have increased the spawn rate of driftwood, or we're just getting really lucky. Oh no, that's a drifting resource. I thought it was a whale. Yeah, driftwood used to be really, really hard to come by, and it used to be the one thing that slowed progress. So they may have increased the spawn rate of driftwood piles. We've seen a lot of them so far compared to what I've been seeing in the 7 hours I've been playing so far. So we either got lucky or they changed it. We are bringing in a little bit of seaweed, but it's going out as fast as it's coming in because people are so hungry. Everybody's rushing over there to eat it. And your happiness will go up the more diverse the stuff they're eating. So eating just seaweed isn't going to make them that much happier. Eating seaweed and fish and bread and meat and crabs will make them very, very happy. So we gotta make getting some diverse foods a priority as well. Darn, I'm reluctant to go over and pick up those survivors, but we've lost 3 to malnutrition already, so I think we do have to get some fresh bodies on here. Come on, guys, hurry up. Oh, I think when the storm came, it switched us back down to normal speed. Sorry about that. We've been on normal speed since the storm. If you guys want to join us, we can offer you a fish and a piece of kelp. That's it. That's that's all the yummies we got for you. But come on aboard if you want. Now you're saying, why don't you just eat those survivors? Because we don't eat survivors. We're not gonna eat the survivors. Another driftwood pile, man. I hate zipping right past these, but we gotta get some food. I really hate passing that. Look, that's driftwood, destroyed ship. We need iron too. Destroyed ship, crude oil, destroyed ship, crude oil, destroyed ship. Lots of scrap metal over here. There's another sunken brewery that way. Why don't we head that way? We still have to build our brewery here. We're stockpiling some water, if you look on the left-hand side here, and some grains. So now we could put down a brewery if I can find it. Did we run into something? No. Brewery. Breweries can catch fire, as can bakeries. So I'll put them together for now. That may not be a good idea. We're driving right past this drifting resource. Just zig over there and then zag back. Devs, you've made the start of this game a little more stressful than I like with this happiness decrease. You know, I started this video by saying this is a nice relaxing game. It just suddenly became not as relaxing. Look at how unhappy my people are. All right, but we're not stopping here. We've got enough. Well, I say we've got enough wood, but as soon as we build the brewery, that's going to be yet another building that needs wood to operate. So I think we do pause a minute here and grab all the wood we can from this driftwood pile we just sailed right over. Devs on a boat. My peeps should not be this unhappy. Come on. This ain't right. School of fish. School of fish. All right. Where'd the sunken brewery is still over there? Looks like visibility just went down a little bit because it's raining. But we'll just pick up that little drifting bit and then move over here and let our fishers fish for fish. And then after that, we'll go to the sunken brewery. We'll grab some beer to help make our people happier. And while they're doing all this, let's scout around to see what comes next. Again, 2 trading posts over here that we can't really take advantage of because... Oh, and here's a... So this is another drifting city that we could go and trade with or even invade if we were at the point where we had enough of a military infrastructure to try to invade their city and steal their resources. But we haven't built a single defensive. I really got to get on that, in fact. We could get attacked by pirates at any time. All right, let's. We've got the wood. We don't have the metal for it, really. Oh, there's another sunken brewery out there. Are we done fishing? All right, we're done fishing. All right, no, our happiness is bad. I know. The villagers are unhappy. The city needs more beer. Well, that's what we're doing right now. We're going to gather up that beer. I could tell them to drink this beer right out of the water, but there's a chance they'll get sick from doing that. Yes, it would make a bunch of people happy all at once, but they could get sick, and we have not built a medical post yet. The brewery is still waiting on some metal to be built. We're going to have to hit a sunken ship soon. The beer that they're harvesting is going out as fast as it comes in because everyone's so unhappy. Oh no! What did I say? I said we need to build some defense. We have no defenses. The good news is we have almost nothing for them to steal. we We have almost no food for them to steal. The only thing they might get away with that we really need is the water and the grains. We do have a lot of wood that they're going to probably steal. But I mean, there's no point in me trying to build any defensive stuff now because it won't get built by the time the pirates come. And they're just going to come on board completely unopposed and walk right into our storehouse and take all our stuff. And light our stuff on fire. Guys, put out the fires. Don't worry about the pirates. Just let them take what they want. They're taking our wood. They're taking our plastic. They're taking our dirt. They're taking more plastic. Oh, no. They're killing our people. Uh, we killed no pirates. They killed 6 of our villagers. They stole 121 wood, 30 plastic, 3 oil, and 51 dirt. Well, that was disastrous, but that's what happens. We really got a little bit locked by developers that I would have been able to build some defensive structures before that happened if I haven't been having to run all over the place worrying about my villagers' happiness. Because now we're just going from food source to sunken brewery to food source to sunken brewery because everyone's so unhappy. I think we overdid it a little bit on the unhappiness buff or happiness nerf, whichever way you want to look at it. All right, well, the game went back down to normal speed with the pirate invasion, but I've put us back up to fast. And get gathering. Gather me up some beer. Try to take the edge off after that stressful pirate invasion. Driftwood over there. Crude ship or destroyed ship and crude oil we need. I think we should head over there next because we want to get this brewery actually built, which means we need to harvest some scrap metal. Oh, kelp forest and school of fish. That's what we need. We need that more than the scrap metal. Let's go. We were done with that, right? No, oh, it's still here. Whoops, sorry. I thought they were done gathering. Villagers are so unhappy. They're drinking up the beer as soon as it comes in. Ah, I didn't get it all. I'm sorry. I keep leaving before it's done. I know that there's a notice that comes up here in the upper left-hand corner when you exhaust a resource, but I wouldn't hate having a small, inoffensive sound to let me know that I should look up there when that happens, when you deplete a resource. They're still doing it. Still gathering from the brewery. It's good. It feels like this brewery was a little more substantial than the 2 we visited before, so we're probably bringing in more beer than we have from the other ones. Sunken Brewery's been depleted. Let's go for the Kelp Forest and School of Fish. So good. I'm glad you guys at least got to see the 2 hazards that are in the game in this initial episode here. I don't anticipate doing like a long series on this, especially since it's in early access. But you know, I did want to show it to you, see if you might be interested in trying it out for yourself. It's not expensive, as I said. It's an indie game. I think it's on sale right now too. Today's December 16th or 17th. And the Steam Winter Sale is on right now, and I think this might be 15 or 20% or 25% off right now. So grab it if it looks interesting to you. Okay, good. Bringing in lots of food. Well, not lots, because everyone's really, really hungry. So the food that we're bringing in now is just going to fill their bellies, but I don't think we're going to be able to stockpile anything from this. Not much, anyway. As soon as this is done, we'll just slide over here to the trash pile and grab all that stuff. And while that's being done, we'll figure out what to do next. Drifting resource, drifting resource, drifting resource. Drifting. Not seeing anything else. I guess we could go back to the destroyed ship that we were going to go to at first. There is a driftwood pile over there too, and another destroyed ship. That'd be a lot of scrap metal if we went back that way, so we might do that. Great, our brewery has been built. Now they'll actually be making beer, which will really dramatically help with the happiness situation. Having a variety of food, and of course our brewery just caught fire. Well, it's my first day, sir. I didn't really know how to work the still. And it caught fire. Well, at least it's out. We're getting a fair amount of fish out of this school here. They're still harvesting. We've got enough wood that I could build a third fisherman here. Do we want to do that? Let's wait on that. We've only got a population of 20. Brewery's on fire again! Guys, would you please figure out how the brewery works and stop setting it on fire? Wow, our fishermen are still fishing. This is good news, guys. They've been fishing for a long time now. We're bringing in a lot of food. People should be, their nourishment should be getting quite a bit better. Well, it's not really, is it? And our happiness is terrible. Our happiness is down to 40%. I've never even seen it. The 7 hours that I've been playing, I've never even seen it get that low. Like ever. And here it's getting that low in our first hour of play when things have been going pretty well so far, in my opinion. So yeah, this seems a little off. I'm going to change my mind here until the third fisherman. It's going to help us get this done faster, for one thing, if we can get this built. And it's done. But anyway, that's fine. We need 3 anyway, so. I like to have 3 scavengers, 3 foragers, and 3 fishermen off the start. And then I also like, whoops, what am I doing? And then I also like to have 2 deep divers. Okay, stop. Nah, I went a little too far. Stop. So again, from the trash pile, our scavengers are bringing in scrap metal. Our foragers are bringing in garbage to make plastic. And our fishers are still fishing, just at a slower pace than they were over the fishing resource. So I think we have a little while before we have to worry about another pirate attack. So what was the other thing we were going to do over here? Wasn't there something else farther away, or were we going to go back? Shoot, there was a drifting resource right there. Were we going to go back to the... I think we need to go back to the sunken ships over there. I know they're behind me. I saw something over here. It must have just been a drifting resource. Is something on fire again? Yeah, something was on fire again. I think that the sunken ships were back in this direction. We're out of visual range now, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's a whale over here. So even if we don't find the sunken ships in this direction, we'll pick up that whale. Let's zig a little bit out of our way to grab that drifting resource. I know there was some plastic over here, but that's too far out of our way. Yeah, we'll go get the whale. That means we're going to need a harpooner and a butcher. So let's get a couple more things. Oh, there's more survivors. We're only up to 28. I think we can afford to get... Oh, man, is the brewery on fire again? Guys, can you figure out how the brewery works so that it's Stop's catching fire, please. All right, we're gonna go ahead and grab these guys, even though we're low on food, and we're not going to eat them. No, we're not going to. I don't care how hungry you are. We're not eating the survivors. Oh shoot! Well, we found the destroyed ships again, and now I've lost the whale. I spun us around, and I've completely lost what direction the whale was in. We really need the whale more than... Oh, school of fish over here. Um, More survivors out there. I think that's a little much. We don't want to really over... Kelp forest and a school of fish out this direction. Let's grab a little bit of this driftwood and maybe a little bit of scrap metal, and then try to remember that we want to go this way next. A compass would be great, developers. Maybe that's something that we can add as something you build, like if you build a bridge. I don't mean a bridge across water. I mean like a ship's bridge that would add a compass to our display. Or I know a lot of people have suggested a crow's nest that would give us a slight upgrade to our view range. So you could do a crow's nest that also adds a compass, something like that. Just so that I can remember what direction stuff is in, because right now you have to have some kind of landmark in order to remember what direction you want to go down the road. We're still at fast speed. We're picking up a lot of driftwood here. That's it. We're done. Let's just grab... I'm not going to do both. Oh, there's another... This is a kelp forest with a school of fish. We'll hit that next. Oh, wait. Stop. I need to rotate you around. I hope we don't hit this ship. Nope. Okay. Our fishers clear the ship. Now our scavengers will get a bunch of scrap metal off of it as soon as they get in range. We're going to have to move a little closer. Nope. No, we're not. It might be time to build a third scavenger post. Should we do that? We have the wood for it. We have the metal for it. And a third forager too, I think. And let's put down... We only need 5 wood to build a platform. Let's put down another platform here. Okay, that was it. That ship did not have a lot of... Oh, there's still crude oil down there. Hold on. Our deep diver is going after the crude oil, but I think we might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here if we rotate this around properly. We might be able to fish and get kelp and do the crude oil from the deep diver all at the same time if we can get this lined up properly. Yep. Okay, good. Great. So we're getting deep diver off. We're getting crude oil from the deep diver off of this resource. We should probably build a second deep diver now. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're getting... Oh man, that was it for kelp? Well, we got... The kelp went fast. We got all the kelp we were going to get off of that, but there's still fish down there. Guys, I think we're off to a pretty good start. Why don't we call it an episode here, just as kind of an introductory episode to Buoyancy by Devs on a Boat. A nice, relaxing city builder game. Not too stressful, not too fast-paced. Look at our happiness is back up to 86% now because we're turning out our own beer at the completely flammable brewery, the brewery that keeps catching fire. But look, we've got 45 beer banked down here in our storehouse. So that's pretty good. That's going to keep our happiness high. So I'm glad we did that at the start. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the Buoyancy video gameplay. And I'll do maybe one or two more. Let's see how it goes. See how this goes over and see if you guys enjoy it as I do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the Buoyancy stuff, and there'll be more coming. Stay out of the water, survivors.